Hey everybody, this is Mr. Storm. In this video, we are going to build the, we'll call it the environmental art, basically the level art that we're going to need to start building our first level. We want to think about our main character, and we want to think about the design of the first level that we've already planned. And what we're really going to be focusing on today is creating something called a sprite sheet. Now, I've done a quick Google search for kind of some art styles that I want, but what we're building is these individual squares. We're making these squares. We're going to take the squares that we're making and we're going to put them into Unity, and we're going to be able to piece them in piece by piece, side by side. The thing that's really important to understand about this kind of game development is that each square needs to be able to match up to the square next to it, so that it looks like it all flows continuously. For example, let's look at this sprite sheet here. Notice how everything is it blends together really well. These are all 32 by 32 squares, right? We can even look at, let's say, something like this, right? They fit together really nicely. The pixels match up exactly, so we can put things side by side really easily. Now, we're not worried about the sky. We're only worried about the foreground of our level. We also want decorations as well, things that are going to be there in the environment that we can put in. But mainly we're focused on building the tiles, creating the tiles that we're going to use to build the rest of the level. Now, I'm going to kind of copy this style somewhat, just in my own way, because my first level is going to be like a really icy kind of level. It can even be as basic as this, right? It can even be really as basic as these. You can use these right here. Actually, hold on. I think these might actually be mine that I created for a project a long time ago. That someone... Pixel Art Maker. Oh my gosh. I want to see this website. This is strange. This might actually be... What is this website? Pixelartmaker.com? Okay. I think those are... Anyway, whatever. That's strange. But yeah, they can be any style you want. Whatever looks nice to you. You can go into a large amount of detail if you're doing vector art if you want. There's some more vector art tiles that have been created. There's just all kinds of ways you can go about this, but I'm going to stick with the 2D pixel art that I've used to create my character, and I'm going to create a new drawing. This is also going to be 32 by 32, but there's one extra step you may want to consider before you create your brand new thing, which is this color palette option. I didn't choose this for the main character just because our main characters are going to have to stand out from the background in somewhat. And it should be obvious that your main character should be the most visually appealing thing on the screen. But when it comes to environment art, you want to use colors that are kind of uniform. I guess is the best way to put it. So if you go to this color palette option, it gives you tons of color palettes that you can choose from, right? And it'll just give you these options as colors for when you're designing your program or your artwork. So I'm just kind of looking through here, looking for one that looks good for ice. Ocean blue looks kind of nice. Water palette. Now, some of these have a ton of colors inside. Others have only a small amount. I'm going to stick with a small amount of color, just because to me, it makes it a little bit easier to. I'm gonna use Magic Fire. So that's going to be my palette, right? And let's go ahead and click New Drawing. All right. Now notice when I come over here to select, where's my color palette? Oh, there we go. There are my colors right there. So now I have my 6 colors that I can choose from, and it'll keep my artwork staying super consistent throughout the entire piece. All right, so one thing we want to be careful of is we want to make sure that all of our art fills in this entire block, right? This entire brick here needs to be filled in by our brick, whatever it is. I'm going to use this dark purple color as like my I'll say like my deep color, my second layer underneath my main layer. So the top layer, the layer of blocks my character is directly standing on will be designed a little bit more. This one will be directly underneath of it and fill in all of the space underneath. So it's just going to be a basic flat color. All right. The next frame, I'm going to use that as my base, but I'm going to start drawing some more details in. And actually, I'm going to go up here in the very top, and I'm going to create a 2 pixel deep layer of, I don't know, kind of snow, I guess. And then I'll use the next color to make some details. All right, and just kind of... Now, this is not the best looking way to create art for your environment, but to me, this works really well, and it's pretty easy to pull off. All right, cool. It's looking kind of good so far. We're getting somewhere. And then maybe I'll add some variation into the brick like this, with maybe some highlights here, so that it looks kind of more like there's some texture. Okay, so that looks kind of cool. And maybe I might want to, let's say, copy this frame and then get rid of these details and then add a different set of details. That might be a way to go. But actually, I'm just going to leave those. You know, I actually don't like those very much. Let's fix that. Let's do... I just want to do like kind of like dots to make some like gravelly looking details. I don't know. It's starting to get a bit busy. Let's actually undo those two. I'm going to keep it just like this for now. All right. Now, one thing we definitely need is we need art that allows that. How do I put this? We're going to need platforms like this, obviously, but we are going to need corner platforms so that if we have like a fall, like a drop, then it doesn't just do there should be a corner. And we're going to need ones that are straight up and down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my select tool here, and I'm going to rotate this over by 90 degrees. That will be our drop frame. And then I'll copy this frame again, and I'm going to use my select to select these, and I will copy and then paste, grab my move tool. Oh, hold on. Paste, rotate this around that way, and place it right there. Now notice that I have an issue here where my those don't quite match up, so I can grab my pencil tool and I can fill those in, make it look nicer. Maybe even add some like cool, there we go. And then kind of like that. So now I have a corner. And then I think that's probably all I'm going to need, at least for the basic level. Oh, I actually might need, let's see. Actually, so with the way that these sprite sheets work is I can rotate these anytime I want. I can flip them. So I don't need to do opposite versions of these. I can just rotate them around in Unity. So that should be good for all of my actual tiles that I need. The next thing I want to do is I want to start creating some decorations that I can place on top of here to give it a little bit more, I don't know, some more depth. So I'm going to, I will just do like some kind of like some grass that's sticking up and maybe put some blue flowers. Although in my game, I'm not going to have life. There's going to be no actual life in my game yet. So maybe not that, but you know, something kind of, let's do a rock. Let's make a rock. There we go. All right. So I'm going to make a blue. Hello. Oh, I'm using my eraser tool. So I'm going to make a blue rock. Okay. I'll fill that in with my paint bucket tool, and then I'll add some, oh, still have my paint bucket. I'll add some snow on top. Okay, perfect. So, yeah, just go through and make as many decorations as you want. Make sure you have all the tiles that you need for creating your platforms. Again, this one is going to be the one I use the most because it's my flat platform. If you want like a diagonal, then there's a pretty easy way to do that. We just would duplicate. Let's copy this one. Now remember, rotating in pixel art isn't going to work out, so you don't want to rotate it. What you want to do is just grab your line tool and you want to create a diagonal and then probably another one just to give it another layer of depth. Probably another one too. And then we'll start adding in details here. And some more. There you go. All right. And then we'll go back here, grab my, and we'll make sure that those work well. Now, so it's not going to be a perfect looking diagonal when you put them side by side, especially because this side has, yeah, because we're gonna have to yeah, it's gonna be a little bit wonky, but it'll be good enough for what you're looking for. Okay, so diagonal. Let's see. What else do I think I might need? I think that's probably good. I think this is everything I'm gonna need. I might think of some more that I want to add in later. Oh, I need to actually erase all of this. This needs to get erased because I don't want a purple background. Anyway, I'll do that and just while I'm talking. So I think this might be what I need. You're obviously making a different game than I am, so your design is going to be different for your environmental art. You know, remember that we want to fill in the entire square. If you're leaving a pixel gap on either side, when you start putting this side by side, if we put a bunch of these, like these frames side by side to make a line of like a surface for your character to run on, if there's a pixel gap here, then there's going to be a 1 pixel gap between every piece of art that you make, which is not what we want. We want it to always work together. Now, and also notice that I have 2 pixels of the white on this side with 1 pixel of the slightly darker white. I have the same exact over here, 2 pixels of the white with the 1 pixel of the slightly darker white. That way, if we put these together, let me show you. I'm going to copy this frame a couple of times. So if we put it together, it looks like one long continuous running thing instead of having the pixels not match up at the edges here, which would cause problems, right? Okay. So I'm going to delete this frame. How do I delete frames? Oh, there it is. Delete that frame, delete that frame, delete that frame. Okay. So anyway, keep working on your environmental art. Start thinking of all the stuff that you want to include in your first level and what you might need in order to make that work. Remember decorations. If you want to create bigger things like trees and whatnot, you're not going to do those on this sprite sheet because, again, this sprite sheet is 32 by 32. If you want bigger decorations, you're probably going to create those on a 128 by 128 or however big you want it to be. And then just bring those into Unity separately and we'll chop them up the right way. But for now, make sure you get your level tiles built so that we have something to start building our first level with whenever we start working with Unity again. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and save this as level 1 art. There we go. You guys continue working on yours. If you have any questions about what you're supposed to be including or whatnot, remember, you can always look at references here online. You can get ideas from other people's work. You can ask me if you're really lost and you really have no idea what you should be making. Something like that. That looks pretty good. Make this, be creative, create something that is uniquely yours. But you can also use inspiration from other people. Oh, here's a really good example of a level that's built using this tile system that we're putting together. Notice that it has some details. Oh, this is another one too. All the tiles they kind of line up to each other properly. Right. So that's kind of what we're building. We're making something that simulates this style of art. Okay. So perfect. Alrighty. Yeah, that's about it. Let me know if you have any questions and I will see you next time.